The Yorkshire Coastcast with Paddy. Loving life in Yorkshire. The people, the places.
Hello there, and welcome to episode 57.
This is the Coast.
Coming up, we learn about a fabulous local charity called Futureworks, plus extra trains between Scarborough and York, but not until December 2028. And more on the Scalby Charity Walk and other Easter events. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts from. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and always at thisisthecoast.co.uk/podcasts on the This Is The Coast app. Get your smart speaker to play the latest episode of the Yorkshire Coastcast podcast. We're everywhere. Reviews are great too, especially if they're good. Right, let's start this episode with a fabulous local charity that you might not know much about, which is exactly why we want to shine the spotlight on Futureworks. They do incredible work based in Scarborough. I've popped along to their office on Victoria Road to find out more about what they do.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Thornton and I'm a CEO of Futureworks NY.
Just tell us about Futureworks for those that don't know what it's all about.
Okay, so Futureworks is an alternative education programme and we are here to work with our community. We deliver lots of sessions that young people can get involved with, and we're also a City and Guilds Register Centre, so we do maths and English as well.
What is a normal day like here at Futureworks? Because there's stuff going on here right now, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're always really busy. There's always young people coming in and out. So we have classrooms, we have creative workshops. We also have a workshop where they recycle furniture as well. And that's really busy. We also have a shop as well on St Thomas Street where we sell the products that the learners make.
And the people that use Futureworks then, just tell us about the kind of people that use Futureworks or need the support of Futureworks.
Okay, yeah, so young people from year 10 upwards come to us to get support. So they can be age 14, 15, 16, and then there is no age limit, so they could be 75 as well. So it's a whole range of groups going on, so lots for everybody to get involved with. We're really busy and we constantly get referrals, so yeah, it's a great place to be.
How long have you been going then, and has it just carried on building up and up?
Yeah, so Michelle and I have worked together for over 20 years, but we invented Futureworks 14 years ago. So we work with about 120 people a year. There is a queue to come here, so we are very busy. And it's just trying to offer people what they need that they can't get from anywhere else. So we're very bespoke. You have been funded, haven't you, by from a couple of different places? Yes. So it's all about bids, isn't it? So just tell us how the funding's worked so far, but how this is a bit of a crucial time for you. Yes. So the funding tends to last 12 months, 2 years or 3 years, and so it's a constant rotation of applying for funding. So we've got 2 or 3 that are ending this year. We've got one that's just started in December. So it's just a constant making sure that when one ends, we can fill that gap with the next one that's coming. Sometimes there are hairy moments where there is nothing in that gap and it gets quite worrying. But Michelle does write bids every single week, and she will tell you 9 times out of 10 she gets a no, which can be quite disparaging. But you've just got to keep going because we've got to stay here in the town that needs us. And we hear this a lot from charities and local charities. They're so important, they're so well used. You say you've got a waiting list for people, and yet the funding is a real challenge to get. Yeah. And that's really tough, that, isn't it? Yeah. I think when I was younger, you went to school and that was the end of it. There was no alternatives, whereas now we can offer alternatives, but it's not funded by the government. So we do need to be quite savvy and try and find funding from wherever we can. We do work with children in need when we can, and apply for whichever pots match our service. We do not chase funding, so we don't change what we do to meet the needs of funders. We've got to find the right funding for what we do, because what we're doing is working and it's really helping the community. And aside from bids, obviously another way to raise money is to have people in the community raise money for you. So do you have much of that going on, and would you like more of that? Oh, we would like more of that. So if there's anybody thinking about running a marathon or doing a fundraiser, they can do it for us, and that would be fantastic. We do our own, we get our learners involved, we do as much as we can, but it is hard work and there is a lot of people fundraising. So we're all kind of asking the community to support us, which is difficult because people follow their heart. So, we can't have everybody helping us. But yeah, if anyone wants to do anything for us, jump out of an aeroplane or bake a cake, that would be great. Yeah, just come and see us.
Yeah, fantastic. And the shop is interesting, actually, on St Thomas Street. And there's a bit more to that as well, isn't there? So if people are having a house clear out, you can help out with that, and that helps you.
Yeah. So that is a pot that's funded by the Community Fund Lottery. They've been supporting us for a few years on that now. And what we're trying to do is make that more self-sustainable. So the furniture that the learners work on, that goes into the shop, which sells, and then the money stays in the pot, which helps us. That's kind of money that we can deem to wherever it's needed. So that is growing, that's doing really well. We get lots of people in Scarborough, they've got Airbnbs, or they've got a second home and they want to furnish it with nice things that are a little bit different. So lots of one-off stuff. And if we tell a learner they've worked on a table or a set of drawers and then it sells, it boosts their confidence. They're like, wow, someone's paid for my work. And in itself, that boosts their confidence. So that's a nice little project that's funded by the lottery. That is one of our projects, and that is hopefully going to grow. We have started doing a delivery service, so if you buy something off Marketplace or Dougleby's or anywhere like that and you can't get it home, you can ring us and we'll move it for you for a small donation. And the other thing we do is take donations. We don't ever buy furniture. We have lots of donated furniture that we can recycle and sell on, so that's great. That comes from the community.
That's really useful to know. Fantastic. Anything else you want to mention yourself?
I would like to say that we are really proud of where we are. We did say when we first started we would give ourselves 6 months, give it a whirl, and here we are 14 years later. Quite often we're so busy delivering, because we're busy, that we don't get a chance to do these kind of things. So it's great to speak to you today and spread the word and just let people know that we're here. We're trying really hard to still be here, and we still love what we do.
We saw each other at the Rotary get-together the other night, and so the new president, I think, is going to be supporting Futureworks, their charity of the year.
Yeah, so he has chosen, the new president that comes in July, Andy, has chosen us as their charity of the year, which is great for awareness. They'll all talk about us. It's not really about what they can bring in monetary-wise, but it's about who's in the room and who's talking about us and who can raise our profile, and we're just really grateful for anyone that can do that for us.
My name's Michelle and I'm one of the CEOs at Futureworks.
Okay, so we just heard there how you're forever putting bids in. So how long does each bid take? I mean, what do you need to do for each bid?
Oh, it's how long is a piece of string, and it absolutely depends. So the lottery one can take up to 7 months. That's a really hefty one. Others, I mean, I'm doing one at the moment that's taken so far 3 days. It can be anything from a really small 1-page application up to, application, interviews, 3rd stage. So yeah, some of them can be really hefty.
So it's like you're being auditioned constantly, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And we have got to write about everything that we do and everything that we want to do. It can be really in-depth.
But if you don't get those bids come through, out of all of the applications, even one is vital, isn't it? I mean, you just wouldn't be here, would you? No,
without those bids, we just wouldn't be here. We cannot survive without the grant funding. Like Sarah said, we don't get funded by the local authority. It is all grant funding.
Amazing. But obviously, you'd much rather be spending your time not putting in bids constantly and actually just doing the work that you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But, it has to be done. So, we can't complain about it. We have to just do it. If we want to be here, it's what we have to do.
Yeah, and obviously you'll see people using this place day in, day out. Just how important is Futureworks for this community?
Yeah, so like Sarah said, we've got waiting lists, we've got young people that that want to come here, and we've had young people and parents themselves saying that we've saved their their children's lives. So that in itself speaks for itself.
And that in that presentation the other night, you were talking about one of your young people who really does say that he wouldn't be around if it wasn't for Futureworks.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's quoted to say that without Futureworks he'd be dead. And that just makes all those hours of bid writing absolutely worth it.
And that was Sarah and Michelle from Futureworks in Scarborough. It really is a fantastic charity. And I do think that there's plenty of people that won't know about the amazing work that they do. And it's a real shame to hear that just like every other charity, every other local charity, they are struggling for funding at the moment. So if you can do anything for them, they'd really appreciate it. And in fact, there is an event this Easter weekend that is happening for Futureworks, and that is the Scalby Charity Walk. And we're going to be finding out more about that event from one of the organisers, Michael Whiteley, shortly on the Yorkshire Coastcast podcast.
The Yorkshire Coastcast, loving life in Yorkshire. The people, the places. This is the coast.
Loving life in Yorkshire. This is the
And also on the way as well, why the Yorkshire coast is very, very important when it comes to when Easter is celebrated around the world. More on that very soon too. Firstly, it's been announced there are going to be more trains between Scarborough and York. Hooray, I hear you say. However, little caveat, we have to wait until December 2028, and it's not going to be a half-hourly service, not at this stage anyway. We're going to get an extra train from Scarborough to York on a weekday and Saturday morning, and also an extra train from Scarborough to York on a weekday and Saturday evening. So that's it. 2 extra trains from the coast to York, and of course another one coming back the other way as well. I've been to Scarborough railway station to speak to some of the key figures involved in the project to get more trains between Scarborough and York. We'll hear from the Managing Director of Transpennine Express, Chris Jackson, very, very soon. And also Scarborough and Whitby's MP Alison Hume. Firstly, the Mayor of York and North Yorkshire, David Skaith, who says it is great news, but this is just the start.
I've been pressing hard for this from almost the very start of my term actually in being Mayor. The importance of connecting the coast up better to York is absolutely vital. We know this has only been a 1-hourly service. It also hasn't been overly reliable, so people just don't use it. Improving the connectivity, the opportunities for people to get from the coast to the city and vice versa, but also on that whole route, people who are now living in Moulton, having that more frequent connectivity to get access to jobs, for opportunities, for skills, for training. It just opens up this whole corridor for us. And ultimately, you would like an even more frequent service, wouldn't you? Absolutely. We see this as very much the start of it. With the announcement last week of the £450 million investment into transport across York and North Yorkshire, record amounts of investment into repairing our roads, into active travel, into making our roads safer. The announcement of Haxby Station coming online just outside York. The work's been happening at Scarborough already. The work's happening at York Station. We're starting to paint a really good picture of what we're doing on transport, but it is the early stages. We've done a lot. There's always a lot more to do.
Yeah, so it will make a difference, won't it? Because there's that extra service from the coast in the morning, so good for commuters. An extra service from York in the morning, and same for the evenings as well. So commuters, but also visitors as well will benefit. Yeah, absolutely. We know how popular this line has been. It's one of the fastest growing lines there is in the north. It's used so frequently. So improving that connectivity and those options in the morning and the evening is going to really impact those commuters, and it's a Monday to Saturday service as well, so obviously it's going to hit that weekend as well, so it's really important. Yes, we want more, and yes, we'll be going back to government all the time to showcase the opportunity around this, but also how many people are using it. So we do need people to be using it, but then we can go back to government and say how successful it is, and we always want more. People often talk about a half-hourly service and how that is the dream. Would there need to be, do you think, you might not have the answer to this, improvements at Moulton Station where there is only the single platform? You feel like maybe there needs to be improvements there, a second platform, which would help, more services be able to run through? Yeah, absolutely. And having the more frequency of rail makes those business cases for the second station platform at Moulton much more viable, and that's why it's important to get this in first. So then things like the business case for that, the work that we can do at SEMA, Haxby Station coming online, all those start to be much more financially viable if you've got more people using it. So again, now our next phase is now working up the business case and the proposition to government to say, actually, we've now got an investable proposition at Moulton, at SEMA, obviously Haxby's already happening, the work at Scarborough and now the work at York Centre as well. It starts painting that really big picture of more people using it, therefore we now have the capacity, therefore we now need to have the stations that are fit for purpose to meet the demands of all those people using it. And obviously the mayor role is still relatively new, so is it great for you to see the benefits of your role sort of physically into this, more frequent train service? It just shows what you're able to do, I suppose. That must be one of the best things about the newish role that you've got. It is, yeah, and we know in transport as well, things, pardon the pun, do move slowly. When you're looking at increasing frequency, putting up more trains on the rail, improving the station, these things do take a long time because they've got to fit in with timetables. You've got to get more rolling stock, you've got to train more drivers. Things don't happen overnight, particularly in transport, particularly in rail. So to get from where we were 18 months ago to where we are now is great to see, but we always want to do more, and we will be doing more. Finally, the scaffolding's only just come down in here. It looks good, doesn't it? It does. It looks great. It's, and again, it's that seeing that investment. This station is such an iconic, beautiful station. To see the scaffolding on out, to see it look like this, cannot wait to see the amount of visitors who's going to be use this station. Obviously, we're coming into half term now. It's going to be incredibly busy here this weekend and next week, and hopefully for the rest of the year. And that was the Mayor of York and North Yorkshire, David Skaith, there, speaking to me on Platform 3 at Scarborough Railway Station on Wednesday of this week. Also on the platform was Scarborough Whitby's MP Alison Hume, who again greeted the news but said there's more work still to be done.
Yeah, it's all happening on Platform 3, Paddy. Absolutely delighted that we're going to be getting a couple of new train services. So one that leaves 7:30 in the morning from Scarborough and 6:30 at night to go to York. And then obviously there's the York to Scarborough service, which leaves an hour earlier. So the same train will be coming from York to Scarborough and then back to York.
Now, I know you are campaigning, aren't you, for a half-hourly service, so this is far from that, but it's a step in the right direction, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, and this shows what a Labour government, a Labour mayor and a Labour MP can achieve by just knocking on the right doors. I'm really grateful to the mayor, David Skaith, for pushing this through, and also TPE for, making it happen. It's not going to happen immediately. I think we've got to wait a little while, but when it does, it's going to make a huge difference to people who want to work in York, commuters, and also people who want to come and work in Scarborough. So great for employers here.
Yeah, so you mentioned there's this collaboration. So just talk us through that, because obviously the mayor is heavily involved.
Yeah, that's right. So I've been campaigning obviously for a half-hourly train service since I was elected. Then David took that up. He's been talking to government. So this is fully funded by the Department of Transport. So we've all been working together. And as I say, it's the start. I don't want people to think that we're going to say, well, we've done a couple of trains and that's fine. No, we want a better service. But this is a brilliant start to that.
Yeah, and of course we've had the news this week about the A64. I mean, to be honest, that's been many, many decades that people have been talking about the dualling of it. So it looks like that's still being sort of pushed down the line a little bit further. So I guess it's ever more important, isn't it, that we have as best a train service as possible? Yeah,
absolutely. For people in my constituency, public transport is the number one thing that they want to improve, not just the trains but the buses. Obviously I was disappointed that the Hopgrove roundabout wasn't dualled, but many political careers have died on the A64, and my focus is improving public transport. Of course I'll be pressing for improvements to the roads, but my constituents say all the time they want better trains and buses, and today we're starting delivering that.
Yeah, and of course, down the line, I keep using that like pun unintentionally, but we're looking ahead to Great British Railways as well, aren't we?
Yes, it's going to be great when we see that branding on the side of trains, and I think it'll make people feel proud about the railways again. They're coming back into public control, the government are running them. We'll be able to sort out all these weird ticketing systems and timetabling problems where trains can't run on one line because another train has to be timetabled. All that will be smoothed out by the fat controllers. I don't think they do really exist, but in my mind there is one. And I think that we'll be able to feel good about our railways, because it's all about pride, and I feel really proud of Scarborough, standing in this beautiful station that's been renovated. Soon the scaffolding will come off the front, but we can already see how beautiful it is here with the roof. And I want people to arrive in Scarborough and think, wow, this is a great town, and I want people who live here to feel really proud about Scarborough.
Yeah, you mentioned how great it looks now. I was looking at a picture of what it was like before, and actually it's so much lighter, isn't it, than it was. And soon the scaffolding will be coming off the clock tower as well, and it's great that extra funding's come in to sort of make that look all nice. And that is another thing, isn't it? The gateway is still being talked about. But you're right, when people come to Scarborough, first impressions are massive, aren't they?
First impressions are really important. We know it's a beautiful town. I'll just say, looking at the roof, we've got these little round things on the struts. That's to keep the gulls away. And I've just heard from the station managers saying that since they've gone up, there's been no gulls. So not just a beautiful arrival, but an arrival safe of having a little splatter of luck.
I was only here yesterday, and I was actually wondering what those little round things were myself. I thought, are they sprinklers or something? I thought it's a bit extreme, isn't it? But now you've explained it to me, and I did think actually there was a couple of pigeons walking around, but none of them were up there, which is what you want, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, somebody knew their stuff when they designed the roof, which is great.
Scarborough Whitby's Labour MP Alison Hume there. It is funny when I was sat on the platform just having a sandwich, I think, and just looking up thinking, I wonder what them little circles are for. I wonder if it is to do with birds or not. I never thought that it would be the MP who would be giving me the answer barely 24 hours later. Well, I mentioned earlier that also on Platform 3 for this announcement was the Managing Director of Transpennine Express, Chris Jackson. And of course, he welcomed the news. And this was an interesting chat, actually, because we got our teeth into a number of other issues as well, including the train depot, those fantastic new trains that came in a few years ago, and then as quickly as they arrived, they disappeared again. Problems with services being delayed or cancelled. The fact that there isn't the half-hour services that everyone wants with this announcement. Have a listen. It's a really interesting chat, this. It's always great to have news of extra train services. So how are you feeling about that?
Really excited. I think we've hit the sweet spot by actually operating new services, which I think people will use and flock to, but also making sure that we're respectful of the additional public funding that's required to operate these trains.
Obviously, there's a lot of talk locally about even more services, the dream, those half-hourly services. Is that something that you would like to see? Or because we've been talking about possible things that might hold that back, like Moulton Station having just the one platform, etc.
So I recognise it's absolutely a mayoral ambition to operate a half-hourly service all through the day. I think that operating the services in the morning and the evening, which I think will be ideal for commuters, let's see how they go. Let's see how many people use them, and if they're a success story, then we can certainly look at expanding that further.
Yes, and then there's the new station coming on board as well, in the Haxby. What difference will that make between Scarborough and York?
Well, I think that's going to open up a whole new community, a whole new catchment that's really, really exciting. And of course, we're partnering with Network Rail and also the mayoral authorities as well to make sure that we develop that station as quickly as we can, because we recognise that there's going to be a massive latent demand out there. So as soon as that opens, we've got some real high hopes for increasing ridership on the line between York and Scarborough.
It's interesting because obviously just a few miles outside of Scarborough you've got Seaver Station, haven't you, which has its use supplying Filey and Bridlington. But it's interesting to think, isn't it, that York doesn't have anything like that. So I think the impacts are going to be huge. I imagine Haxby is going to become very, very popular, isn't it?
Absolutely. We think we've got real high hopes for Haxby, and of course that's why I think it was prioritised by the government and of course pushed strongly by Mayor Skaith as well, because we recognise that there's a strong catchment and it will be a great opportunity to grow demand on the railway network. Now bear in mind that we're heavily subsidised as an industry, so anything that we can do to grow our ridership will help to balance the rail industry's coffers.
Yes, obviously you're here now today. I don't know whether you've been much recently since the scaffolding came down. Your thoughts on the work that's been done here? It looks pretty good, doesn't it? Nice to have the open space back again, isn't it?
Yes, of course. We came into public ownership in May 2023, and I do remember coming to Scarborough, my first few days on the job, and it was pretty dismal. There was scaffolding, there was kind of heat-proof coverings, but now it's really opened up. Phenomenal work by the team at Network Rail to make it much more light and airy. And of course as well, you'll notice that we've got little bird deterring devices on some of the steelwork, and they're really proving effective. You can't see any pigeons now as well, which means it's much easier to keep clean.
I was saying to Alison Hume, the MP, I was only here yesterday and I noticed those and I was wondering what they were. I thought there was some sort of, over extravagant sprinklers or something, and it was Alison that explained what they were, but they are doing a job, because there was a couple of pigeons walking on the platform, but crucially not up there making a mess, which is important, isn't it?
They're doing a fantastic job. Probably one thing I would mention as well, if I may, is the fact that putting these new trains on means in December 28 means that we do need to recruit more train drivers and more train conductors based in Scarborough and in York. Of course, stable, well-paid employment, so of course that's great news as well for the North Yorkshire economy.
Yes, any idea how many extra drivers you're looking for? And would I be right in thinking that Scarborough, for people locally, it's a good place to be a train driver because it's at the end of the line? Is that, I assume, a plus?
Well, we've got quite a sizable depot here at Scarborough where we've got several drivers and several conductors, of course, majority of whom who live locally and contribute to the local economy. We're looking at recruiting an additional 6 drivers and 6 conductors between here and York. We've got to work out the balance of where they'll be located, but look out for adverts on our website, because of course they're very well sought after roles, but we look forward to contributing, doing our part in growing the North Yorkshire economy.
And finally, you mentioned that depot there, which is just down the line, literally. Obviously, it was built for the different trains, which are no longer in use. So obviously, that was a difficult time, wasn't it? But they are getting used, aren't they, those depots, for the stock that you've got? Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, the train that's right beside us now is one of our Class 185 trains. That's actually the most reliable diesel trains in the country. We've got 51 of them. Some of those trains do go down to the depot at Scarborough at night, where the engines are switched off. They're plugged in to the electricity supply, if you like, like, and that allows them to be worked on rather than making lots of noise to disturb the line side neighbours. So we're very cognisant of the fact that we want to be a good neighbour. But yes, Scarborough Depot has got a long-term future, and we're really excited to be operating it.
Yeah, and obviously when those new trains did come in, a lot of talk was about the experience for passengers. So we've got the 185s, as you say, but we do get some of the newer trains coming in. Will we see more of that, do you think? Sort of longer trains, more carriages, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, well, of course, yes. It's a mixture of 6 and 3 carriage trains. The majority of the services that Scarborough will see in the coming years will be these diesel trains, the Class 185s, as I mentioned, the most reliable diesel trains in the country, in a mixture of 3 and 6 car formations. We're cognizant that we do transport many people, particularly in summertime, to Scarborough, and we want to make sure that we provide sufficient capacity. That's in all of our planning mindset when we're developing our timetables.
I suppose that's the key thing, isn't it? You can have brand spanking new trains, but it's important, isn't it, that they're on time? That's the most important thing from a passenger's point of view. They want to get from A to B when they expect to.
Absolutely, and of course we've been Transpennine Express has been in the public sector since May 2023. You probably, some of your listeners will remember some of the dark days of the past. That's one of the reasons why the company was renationalised, and I'm really pleased to say that we've made some great strides. Cancellations are down by 75%, and because we're operating a stable and reliable timetable across the north, passengers are flocking back to us, and we've seen a growth in passenger numbers of 42%. So I've got real high hopes for the future. Public ownership's just allowed us to stabilise, reset and make the right decisions to improve things for customers across the north, and I'm really delighted about the opportunities that are coming our way, particularly with the £11 billion investment in the Transpennine route upgrade, which is just down the road between York and Manchester. That will improve connectivity for communities around Scarborough, Seamer, Malton, into York and beyond.
And that was a very interesting chat with Transpennine Express's Managing Director Chris Jackson. Learned a new word there as well, cognisant. He used that a couple of times. Having knowledge or awareness. I'll put that into my vocabulary if I can remember it. To his credit, I've got to mention this actually. Before we did our interview, I had to wait a couple of minutes because there was a man who was, I think, partially sighted, who was looking for the train heading towards Filey and Bridlington. And Chris actually took his arm and very slowly walked him all the way down the platform and around the corner to the correct place where he needed to be. And it was actually really nice to see so much care and attention given to a rail user. I thought that was really nice and worth mentioning there. We've got much more on this story about the trains. This is thecoast.co.uk in the Yorkshire Coast news section.
The Yorkshire Coastcast. Loving life in Yorkshire.
And this is episode 57 of the Yorkshire Coastcast podcast, brought to you by This Is The Coast. Now, we are the local commercial radio station for the Yorkshire Coast, for Whitby, Scarborough, Filey, Bridlington, Hornsey, Driffield and Pickering. And, of course, we have listeners across a much bigger area too. You can get us on digital radio across much of Yorkshire and all of Lincolnshire, and also online anywhere in the world at thisisthecoast.co.uk on your smart speakers, on the This Is The Coast app, and on Roku TV as well. So lots of different ways to listen to your favourite radio station for the Yorkshire Coast, right? Okay, next up, we heard earlier at the start of this podcast about the amazing work that Futureworks do, and it just so happens, pure coincidence that this Easter Monday, the Scalby Charity Walk is raising money for Futureworks, so this ties in really nicely. And for their second year running, I will be starting the Scalby Charity Walk at 10 o'clock outside the Plough on the High Street in Scalby. So I'll bring the microphone and speaker. Need to make sure I charge that up, actually. We'll play a few tunes, build up the atmosphere and send everybody off at 10 o'clock. These are the faster ones. And then half an hour later, the rest of us will set off as well. It's a really great walk, which takes in a number of pubs. And in fact, we don't talk about it in this chat because we've talked about it before. So I'll mention it now. It came about, the Scalby Charity Walk, when some fella had a bet with some young people in the village that he could get to these pubs quicker on foot than they could in their car. Something like that. And the challenge has stuck, and so much money has been raised for charity over the years. It's absolutely amazing. It's been going a long, long time. So it's back this Easter Monday, and I've been speaking to Michael Whiteley from Scalby Fair to find out all about the event and how there is still time for you to get involved.
Yeah, so it's Easter Monday. It's the 6th of April. We've got registration open on the day from 8:45 at the Plough, and then the competitive runners, the guys who are going to walk around in some of them just over an hour. They set off at 10 o'clock, and then we have a fancy dress parade. And then everyone else that's going to do a more leisurely walk in fancy dress often, they set off any time from 10:30 to 11. And then, it's a 6-mile walk, and it takes in 3 lovely villages, Scalby, Burniston and Cloughton, and 4 lovely pubs, the Three Jolly Sailors, the Red Lion, the Blacksmith's Arms and the Oak Wheel, and then back to the Plough. And then we had the presentation from around 2:30, 2:45, with all the prizes. We've got a big prize draw as well. We've got lots of local businesses have donated fantastic prizes for our prize draw squares. And we're raising money this year for our main charity is Futureworks, which do some fantastic work with youngsters and young adults.
So I only went into Futureworks a few days ago and recorded an interview with them just about their charity, because we went to the Rotary Club's dinner last Monday and they did a presentation about what they do at Futureworks. And, they were talking about how some of their key funding is coming to an end. And so they're desperate for more money to come in. And actually, having been in there and seen the amazing work that they do, they've got a waiting list for people to use the services that they provide. It's a fantastic charity. So it's great that Scalby Fair and the Charity Walk is behind it. But you'll know yourself, obviously, having chosen Futureworks as to be the beneficiaries, what a great charity it is.
Oh, they just do a fantastic job. And there's lots of people that, without Futureworks, their lives would be, they just wouldn't have the opportunities that they have with the support of Futureworks. There are lots of people just don't quite fit into the education that there is out there, and having an alternate provision, or being able, if you've missed out, being able to, as a young adult, be able to go in and get the basics, and also then some extra help. That's great.
So the charity walk itself, then, you mentioned that some of the faster ones will do it in about an hour. How far is the walk exactly?
The walk's 6 miles. So we go out on the main Whitby Road to the Oak Wheel. So to the Three Jolly Sailors, and then we go up through Burniston, through Cloughton, and the far end of the walk is the Red Lion, where we have the second drink, and then we go back towards Scarborough to the Blacksmith's Arms in Cloughton, and then unlike the old walk when it was first envisaged, when the railway was still going, we actually use the railway track. It's less dangerous now. There aren't any trains on it, so we use the cinder track from the Blacksmiths. We go down on the cinder track, and then we bob out back onto the road for the Oak Wheel, and back onto the cinder track all the way through to Scalby, Lancaster Way, and then back into Scalby Village. So it's a lovely walk, and some lovely villages, and just a great atmosphere every year. There's lots of walkers, probably be around about 200 walkers, and other people who just want to come along and enjoy the community buzz, really.
Some of the outfits that people wear when you talk about fancy dress are fantastic. They really do go to town with these outfits, don't they?
Oh, they absolutely do, and we have various fancy dress prizes, and I think there's 7 or 8 fancy dress prizes, including we get lots of dogs walking as well. We had over 30 dogs last year, and all the dogs get some dog treats as part of the walk, and they even get a fancy dress prize for the best dressed dog in fancy dress. But there's some amazing outfits. Last year, the group winners went to so much trouble, and just fantastic. Every year we're bowled over by their outfits.
So, in terms of registration, then you mentioned happening on the morning, but people can sign up beforehand. Is that preferable?
Yeah, you can sign up beforehand. If you go to the Scalby Fair website, www.scalbyfair.org.uk, you'll see the Scalby Charity Walk, and that's probably the easiest way to sign up, and then it's much easier on the day. If you're not 100% sure whether you're going to be free, then there will be places on the day, and you can come and register from 8:45 on the day.
Great. I'm going to bring the microphone and the speaker along as well and officially start the
yes,
the
we're
walks.
really looking forward to having you along, Paddy. You bring an extra dimension to it. Yeah, it's fantastic. And are you going to be doing some or all of the walk this year? Or
I'm going to do it. Yeah, going to do it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I know you were concerned that I would be commentating at Scarborough that afternoon, and I am, but it is actually a 3:00 kickoff, which, I've double checked. So yeah, I will be fine for that, and I'll just have to go easy on those drinks, won't I? But yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, absolutely. Well, there's a squash alternative at the pubs for you, Paddy. If you're working, we can let you buy with that one.
Great. Looking forward to it very much, and hopefully it'll be a big fundraiser. Any idea roughly how much you'd like to raise for Futureworks with this event?
Yeah, we hope to raise something around £2,000, and they are the beneficiary for the whole of Scalby Fair, so it should be considerably more than that. So
great
over the year.
Yeah, brilliant that you're doing it for Futureworks, and they say this themselves. They are one of those charities that maybe isn't as well known in the area as some of the others who are a bit better at shouting about themselves. So hopefully it'll help put a spotlight on them, as will your coverage this year and your support for them as well.
Well, that's the other thing is it's not just the financial side. People do ask, who's the charity this year, and they really want to know about the charity. So and then that can lead to all sorts of things. So yes, I do understand about the charities that make more noise, and Futureworks is something that wasn't known to me personally until 2 or 3 years ago, and they're a fantastic charity.
I'll see you on Monday, Easter Monday.
Yeah, look forward to it, Paddy. Thanks again.
And that was Michael Whiteley from Scalby Fair talking all about the Scalby Charity Walk. If you're taking part in it, I will see you there on Easter Monday. Looking forward to it. There's loads of other stuff going on across the Easter weekend, though. We've got all the info you need about what's happening at Eden Camp in a special features section at thisisthecoast.co.uk. So just click features on our website or app and find out more about the Great Easter Eggs Escape Trail. Also, Carrot on a Stick, sweet treats from wartime ingenuity, propaganda egg art, messages that mattered, and also the Living History Weekend as well on the 4th and 5th of April, and what else to expect as well. And like I say, loads of other stuff going on along the Yorkshire coast this weekend. We've got the VFM Scooter Rally at Scarborough Spa right across the bank holiday weekend. Also, events like the Thorntondale Christmas Lights Duck Race. So, yes, it's Easter, but they're raising money for their Christmas lights, which are always amazing. So that's at 3:00 on Easter Monday, a charity duck race with over 1,000 ducks going down the beck from Priestman's Lane to the thatched cottage at Thorntondale. You can find out more about what's going on along the Yorkshire coast this weekend by clicking local info at thisisthecoast.co.uk.
The Yorkshire Coastcast. The people, the places.
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcast from, and you'll get a notification for the next episode. Thanks for listening.
The Yorkshire Coastcast.
Loving life in Yorkshire.